You know, when you think about building $1 million business, you probably picture venture capital, a huge team, maybe a genius idea that no one's ever had before. But what if I told you someone did it with basically nothing, just a laptop and a daily habit? It sounds kind of crazy, right? Well, let's get into how it happened.
So this is the big question we're going to unpack. How is it even possible to create that much value from literally zero? The answer is hiding in plain sight, but first, you got to wrap your head around just how weirdly simple the setup was.
Okay, first off, just forget about a physical headquarters. There was no rent, no overhead, no fancy address. The whole thing was run from, you guessed it, a single laptop. And get this, there was no team, no payroll to meet, no HR department, no one to manage. We're talking about an operation that was as lean as it possibly gets. And here's the part that really messes with your head. There was no physical product, no inventory, no software to code, nothing to manufacture or ship. So, what in the world was this business selling?
Well, like all the best ideas, this one started by looking at a real problem. It didn't invent some solution and then go looking for customers. It found a genuine pain point in a market that was absolutely on fire. So the scene is this. A few years ago, crypto was just exploding, right? But trying to keep up with the news was a total nightmare. It was ridiculously complicated, full of jargon, just confusing. The idea behind this newsletter, called Milk Road, was so simple it was genius. What if crypto news was actually fun? What if it was simple, entertaining, and something you could read in just 5 minutes over your morning coffee?
So, with that simple idea, they just started writing. And that daily habit, that relentless consistency, started to build something way more valuable than just an email. It started building the real asset. Now, this didn't happen overnight. I mean, day one, they had 10 readers. 10. But because the content felt like an email from a smart, funny friend, people started telling their other friends about it. And so 10 readers became 100, then 1,000, and pretty soon word of mouth just took over and the growth went exponential. People actually wanted to open this email every day. And this right here, this is the secret sauce. The newsletter wasn't the business, it was just the tool. The real asset, the thing they were building every single day, was a loyal, engaged audience. It was their attention and their trust.
Okay, so you've got this huge, engaged audience that hangs on your every word. That's great, but how do you actually make money from that? This is where the model gets really smart.
They didn't just rely on one thing. They built 3 layers of revenue. First, you had brands paying thousands of dollars for a little sponsored section because they knew they were reaching exactly the right people. Second, they'd get affiliate commissions just for recommending tools and services their audience would genuinely love. But that third layer, that was the big one. The audience itself became the most valuable asset of all.
And that asset, that community built on trust and attention, was so unbelievably valuable that another company came in and bought Milk Road for millions of dollars, all from a simple daily email that cost $0 to start. Just wild.
But look, this story isn't really about crypto at all. The real takeaway here is the playbook, the blueprint. It's a way of thinking about business that completely flips the traditional model on its head. Here it is. This is the big idea. The old way is build a product, spend a ton of money, and then cross your fingers and desperately try to find customers. This new model does the complete opposite. You build an audience that knows you and trusts you first, and then you figure out what to sell them. You're basically building the customer base before you even have the product.
So why does this work so well? It really comes down to 3 things. First, simplicity wins, period. People are drowning in information. If you can make something easy to understand, you're a hero. Second, consistency builds trust. Showing up every day creates a real relationship. And finally, attention is the ultimate form of leverage. Once you have an audience, it opens up doors to products, partnerships, pretty much anything you can think of.
And you know what's cool? Anyone can try this. It really just takes 3 steps. First, just pick a niche you're into. Could be AI, fitness, personal finance, whatever. Second, start creating simple, helpful content on social media to attract people who care about that topic. But third, and this is so important, you have to get those followers onto an email list. That's the asset that you actually own and control, not some algorithm. At the end of the day, I think the biggest myth out there is that you need money to start a business. Stories like Milk Road prove that in today's world, the most valuable currency isn't cash, it's attention. And the person who learns how to earn and hold on to that attention, well, they're the one who controls all the opportunity.